heart disease, this is kind of like a soul disease, really. Companies like Nintendo and all these companies who come up with games, they go through a long process before they come out with their product. Again, they have psychiatrists, psychologists working on the staff. They are doing these pupil dilatory studies on the kids to see what movements excites them, what grabs their attention, what really motivates them to play this game for hours and hours and hours. So they're doing all these studies on the kids before they even come out with a game. So they're not just randomly putting things together and throwing it in the market. Now, we have to also understand that these corporations who are doing this have no morality. They have no values. And the sad thing is, they're running the show, and our young kids are the victims of it. And they could care less, and we have to suffer the consequences. Our kids have to suffer the consequences, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. What they have to do, what they go through when they're exposed to so many violence, like video games and television shows and all that stuff. First of all, it is one of the most #1 increasing problems that we've had among our boys, and it's men of actually all ages who are dealing with this problem. There are a lot of dads and uncles who play these same video games that the kids are playing. So, if you want to change your child behavior, you might want to first look at yourself. And much of the research that they're doing right now, what they're noticing is that the violence rate is actually rapidly increasing. As these video games are coming out, it's increasing. What it does for them is it stimulates their mind to an extent that they start finding school boring. They come into the class, you give them some work to do, it's boring. They would rather sit there and imagine that video game in their head and play. I've seen them doing that. It's so funny. They sit on their chairs and there's work in front of them, but they're pretending like they're playing video games. And when you ask them, what are you doing? They're clueless. So it stimulates their mind so much that they don't care. If they don't find education interesting, they can't wait to get home and play that game again.
You're right. I've seen kids in the classroom just sitting there staring into space. When you ask them what they're thinking about, it's a video game or a TV show.
And like what I said earlier, they cannot distinguish between fantasy and reality. And we have had sad stories that we watched on the news. For example, there was this one kid in elementary school. One day he showed up in the school with a gun. I don't know how he got the gun. He shot this one little girl. And everyone was obviously horrified when he did. So they talked and they're like, what did you do? Do you understand what you just did? You hurt this girl. And he's like, and she died, right there. And he said, oh, well, when I see her tomorrow, I'll apologize. He did not understand the concept of death. Because on television, he's used to watching, oh, everyone comes back to life, If they die in the games, you shoot them, but they are up again. There is no concept of death. So another story, this 13-year-old boy who was really addicted to wrestling, he jumped on his 2 or 3-year-old cousin, and she died. He broke her neck. And he couldn't understand what he did because he's like, well, on the wrestling shows that I watch, they get hit with the chairs and all these things, but they're bleeding, but they're okay. They're up again. So kids, again, you have to understand that us adults can't tell the difference between reality and fantasy. These kids can't. Their minds are still developing, and they cannot tell until they're like 8, 9, 10. So when you expose them to all this thing at such a young age, you're just messing with their brains. You're really messing with their brains. I want to talk a little bit about observation learning. This is a theory from psychology. It's very self-explanatory. It just basically says that whatever you watch, you imitate. And this is much, much stronger in kids than it is in adults. And this guy by the name of Bandura, he actually conducted a very classical study on aggression. So what he did, he gathered all these kids and he divided them into 2 groups. One group of kids got to watch, it's an old study, they did it in the 70s, so that's why you'll see Go Doll. But one group of kids, they got to watch on television screen this adult abusing Go Doll. They're hitting them with the hammer and all that stuff. And then this other group of kids, they got to watch the same adult with the same Go Doll, but they were being nice, they were actually playing with it. And then they let the kids go into the room and they just wanted to see what the kids would do. The kids who watched the adults hitting the Go Doll, they did the same thing. They actually did much worse than that. They got the gun out and everything. And the other kids who watched the adults playing with the Go Doll nicely, they copied that. So I just have a small clip that I want to play from that experiment.